Okay guys, welcome to my how to hold videos. In this video we're going to be looking at cache, and we're going to be looking at the B bomb site of cache, so the area to the right of CT spawn. We'll be covering both the B bomb site and B main, and we'll be covering a little bit of the vent room, or the checkers room, depending on what you want to call it. First we'll look at timings, then we'll have a look at angles and positions, then grenade usages. We'll also look at pushing as well, and terrorist afterline positions as well, both on the B bomb site and the B main area, and a few in checkers as well. So let's first define what area of the map. So this is the bottom area of the map, and it's both the B side, a little bit in the checkers, and the B main area, and being attacked from B main only. But mainly we'll be focusing on this close proximity to the B main, and not really the back of the B bomb site. We will not be covering any spot from the vents, even though we'll be covering some from checkers. The vents will be covered in the middle video. Let's have a look at timings. We can look at CT, T timings, and the meeting angle. So for a counter-terrorist, to get to the area on the B bomb site to look into B main, it takes them about 11 seconds on a good spawn. This is to get looking into B main. For a terrorist to look to where the counter-terrorist would be after 11 seconds, it takes them 10 seconds. So to play aggressively, the T's get there before the CTs do, so just be careful if you want to do that. Let's have a look at angles. We can look at aggressive and defensive angles. So the first aggressive angle is looking into the sunroom, and then there's angles across the sunroom, and then the blanket angle across B main, and then the checkers and B main angle, and then a couple angles across the site, depending on how defensively you're holding. Now let's have a look at some positions. We're going to look at aggressive, defensive, one kill, and AWPing positions. So you can play at the box, underneath the vents, at the back of checkers, at heaven, CT, at the headshot or generator area, at the box in the middle, at the wooden boxes, and at the corner. So here's the box in B main. So here's underneath the vents. Here's in checkers. Here's in heaven. This is a defensive position. CT, defensive position. You can get smoked out quite easily here, just be careful. Generator, quite a good position, also known as headshot. Boxes is good position, but it's getting more defensive as well. And then behind these boxes, also quite defensive. And then more of a one kill position here, or just a change up of a position. AWPing positions, you can AWP from the back of checkers. Pretty decent position if you've got someone watching vents. Heaven's decent as well, but you can be smoked out. CT, good, but can be smoked out. And here, in the middle of site, close to checkers, is a good one for a quick aggressive peek, and then you pull out. Let's have a look at grenade usages. We're going to look at smokes, flashes, and incendiaries. So we're going to start with the smokes from underneath the vents. This just blocks out sunroom. There is a small gap on the left-hand side, so just be careful with that. So from back of checkers, you can throw one down. This lands in about the same spot, a bit closer, and it blocks it off quite nicely. Just make sure you are watching them, because if they can easily get in front of them. From heaven, you can use the wall to block it off. You want to block it off so you can see if they're crossing into checkers. You don't want to just block off that area in general, unless you have to. So this lets you see them crossing into checkers, and they have to run through the smoke to do that. So you want to get as far to the right as you can. This one here, they can actually get on the box and behind it, but they still have to get through the smoke to get into checkers. So you only want to have to be watching one angle at a time. If you just smoke off that B main entrance totally, you have to be watching both B main and checkers, because they can easily just walk past it. This one here is a bit trickier. You got to land it not too far. You can actually just smoke off this if they have vent control. Once they've got vent control, they can just smoke off one entrance and watch the other. A lot easier. But if they don't have vent control, then you want to be smoking deep into B main, so you can actually see if they cross. So you don't give them easy vent control. From some angles it's a bit harder. And you might just want to save your smokes unless you think they're going to do a rush until they do have vent control. You can also smoke off checkers quite nicely. So you just pop a smoke there, and you can just watch an angle that they both have to run through. So you just use these back walls here to smoke off checkers. and then you just watch the angle where the smoke is in checkers. So about this angle here, and where they have to run through from B main. Flashes, they can be utilized a lot more. So you can do an underhand flash over the box. This gets people nice and close. You can use the back wall if you want to go a little bit further, or you're not very good with the underhands. That doesn't go much further, but it's much easier. Or you can do an underhand across the box, which works quite nicely. If you're underneath the fence, you can use the box here, just to throw a straight flashbang. This will flash quite nicely, and flash into B main. If they know you're here, you can do an underhand flash, and that'll flash people who are watching that spot. Or you can just throw a straight flash on the wall here. This will flash deep into B main. This will stop rushes. Quite good for stopping a rush. If you're stuck in the back of checkers, you can throw a flash. Gets sunroom quite nicely. If they're watching checkers, they'll likely see that flash coming. But if they're not watching it, it should get most people. And this flash here as well. This is useful for helping out your teammates and stopping rushes. If they know you're here, this flash might be a bit more useful. It pops where they're watching, and you can use this to get a kill or pull out. If they're too close, you can just do an underhand flash to the side, and this will get people who are in the checkers room watching you. Heaven, you can just bounce it so it falls off the heaven. This is quite a good flash, they can't see it coming. It'll get them if they're watching heaven. You can throw a flash just straight in like this, bounces once. It's a bit lower, gets a bit further, but it's a bit easier to see. From CT, you can bounce off the right wall. It's a bit easier to see, but a lot of people probably won't be expecting it, and it flashes quite nicely. If you're on the other side, you can use the far wall. This flashes people who are close. Headshot, you can use the same wall. Just flash it there. Again, flashes people in B main. Not really good for a peek, but good for delaying. If you want to use a peek, you just flash over the boxes here, and use this as a peek. Just make sure you don't get flashed by it, because it's quite easy to get flashed by that one. Use the ground as well if you want to, and this flashes a bit further down. Again, you can peek with this one. If you're at the boxes, you can just throw a flash down here. Stops rushes, delays, and hits sunroom quite nicely. If you think they're a bit closer, you just hit it on the wall to the right. And this gets them if they're closer. If they're even closer and they've spotted you can do an underhand flash. Just practice this one because it can get a bit messy. And that will get them if they're close. You can also do an underhand to the side flash if you can't do that underhand over, which works a bit better, but it does limit some angles. If you're at the wooden boxes, you can do a two-handed flash over the boxes. And this flashes people in B main at the box, and checkers as well. Or you can use the other boxes to throw, and it gets them quite nicely. You can also use the back wall, which works quite well. It means you don't really need to worry about jumping or getting the angle right. You just throw it at the back wall, and you can use it to peek quite nicely. You can use the left wall if you're stuck in this one kill position. This flashes people in B main, right at the box. Good for stopping rushes, good for assisting teammates as well. You can do an underhand jump throw if they're too close. This won't work if they're far away, it'll only work if they're close. You can also use the wooden boxes just to flash. So experiment with your flashes, figure out which one works best for you, and where they are, depending on which flash is going to work best. For incendiaries, make sure you bounce up high enough. You're going to put them pretty much where you put the smokes. They're going to know where you throw an incendiary from, so they're not going to be useful for running away as much, but they will be useful for stopping rushes. And again, you want to limit the control of checkers with these, so you want to make sure you get them deep enough. They have to run through them to get into checkers, and they can't just avoid them. So there are very few spots where you can throw these that will both cover a running across the checkers and running through to B main, so have a bit of a practice with these. So this one here, you can actually run in front of it a little bit, you'll take a little bit of damage. So it's probably not the best one. This one here, again, jump on the box, but that can be spotted quite easily, so don't worry too much about jumping on the box. Make sure it does cover up to the box. This one here could be done a bit further, a bit deeper. And you can also get them for checkers, just to make sure you don't have to watch every entrance if they do have control of checkers. Now let's have a look at pushing. We're going to look at benefits and detriments of pushing. So there are two places you can push. You can either push into mid main. This is actually pretty good, mostly if they don't have control of mid, because otherwise they'll just go into vents and you'll lose B. Or you can push all the way into T spawn, not as good, and if they've got control of mid, again they'll go into vents, but then just go into A. So if you've got control of mid, pushing into mid main is good, because then you can then push onto A quite easily. Let's have a look at T after plant positions. We're going to look at aggressive ones and defensive ones. This is a really aggressive one. Set the metals, and then headshot's a pretty good position. You have to watch 2 angles. Here you have to watch 1 angle, but you got no cover. Here's a good position, but you still do have to watch 2 angles. If you're slightly to the right, it's a bit better. Quite a good position here, mostly if you've got someone watching CT. Just pick them up as they come up. Here's a good after plant position, quite defensive. If you've got control of mid, it's one of the better ones. And here's a good position if you've got control of the bomb plant. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.